Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias. Today will be the long time follow-up to this bad boy, the Baikal V2, I guess, the second release of the Baikal Trainer from Thomas Balisong. Disclaimer at the beginning of the video as usual, Thomas did send this Balisong over for the purpose of these videos, but he did not in any way influence my opinions, and any and all opinions presented in this video and any previous or future ones are my own. You know how it goes. Gotta get that transparency out there. Let's take a look at what comes in the box. Here we go. We have one of my favorite pouches in the entire community, to be honest with you, although this one doesn't seem as fuzzy as the other one that I had. Still great little spongy pouch. A card, polishing cloth, I don't know, a little microfiber cloth, hardware, as well as the kind of Nibali style pivot needle, and then this fridge magnet, which I did genuinely go and put on my fridge from the other box that I got. This is a follow-up, a re-release, a reissue, some might say. I've been spending too long in the Transformers community, of this bad boy, the original Baikal, with a few things changed, most notably the chamfering of some of the edges. You'll notice that the cutout in the blade is a bit different, and something that I forgot to mention in the actual first impressions video that I did is the finish. And ultimately, those things are going to come together as I move my chair away to get more light in this goddamn room to make a Balisong that I enjoy, I think is cool, but I really do honestly just kind of prefer the original one for a few reasons that I can't really justify. And even after all this time, I can't really tell if I'm just going crazy or not. But for one, to me, very objective reason as well. So it's the Baikal. If you like the look of the Baikal, you're getting a Baikal. I don't think it's going to be disappointing to anyone. I think you'll still enjoy it. If you liked the first one, you'll probably still like this one, but that's kind of where I come into a few issues. I really liked the original Baikal for being not only a great price, but just a good flipper, solid feeling, maybe a little rough around the edges in terms of like sharpness, especially in this channel here. It does get a little bit sharp, but honestly some of the best jimping I have ever felt on an aluminum Balisong. And to this day, the Baikal remains one of my favorite Balisongs to just do ladders on. The follow-up, while it has fixed a few of those rough around the edges points, the inside of the channel is no longer sharp, and the jimping is still pleasantly grippy. My biggest problem with this is, to my hand, there's been a slight balance change, although this is kind of the thing that I can't really tell for sure, to be completely honest with you. It feels a little bit more handle bias than the original Baikal. Again, I can't tell for sure, so let's just take that with a huge grain of salt. Because the biggest issue that I have with this one specifically that I got, and I'm told that this is apparently different based on what color you get, is the finish. The finish was changed on this new kind of re-release, and it is now like a slight bead blast. And while this bead blast isn't as bad as like a squid bead blast usually is, squid is notorious for having one of my least favorite bead blasts in the entire hobby. Second only to the awful re-release of the extrusion, which just felt awful to me, and the EPS 101 V2. Whew, that was a really rough feel on the hand. This is not nearly that bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not awful. But when I sit here and I look at what came before it, which was this original kind of like polished, satiny feeling finish, I absolutely prefer the original Baikal. It feels better in the hand, even though it's not as rough around even though it is more rough around the edges, I should say. That finish just goes a long way, and maybe that slight reduction in handle weight goes a long way to just make it feel better. I just like how this thing feels so much more. And if I have to pick between the two, I'm definitely picking the old blue one, even if the screws have now been changed to silver and it looks much more aesthetically pleasing. Now again, this is not, I don't want that to mean that this is like a bad release or anything like that. I still recommend this if you're looking for the Baikal. I'm totally not saying that like this thing completely gets obliterated by the first release, and if you can find a first release, you should go find one because it's way better. No. As someone who owns the V1 Baikal, for the purposes of this video, the V1 Baikal, this thing doesn't live up to it to me. And it really comes down to that freaking finish. It's just, it's a little unpleasant on the hands. It's not awful again, but it's also just a little less grippy. And the Baikal already was a balisong that, I mean, it didn't have like a ton of grip, but it wasn't necessarily lacking grip. I genuinely dropped this thing because the bead blast just slides it out of my hands. Now, if you can find one that's satin, because again, I'm told that some of the colorways are satin, and the green one, the live blade that I got, is still satin. It's still kind of that same shiny finish that the original was, so I don't really know what's going on with that. But yeah, this bead blast takes it a step down. Although, again, if you don't own a Baikal, you're still getting the Baikal experience. It's not like you're missing out on anything by not going back and picking up the first Baikal. You're still getting a Baikal. Just for those people who are like, hey, I have the original Baikal, is the new one like worth upgrading to? Nah, save it. Save your money. Unless you want to get a live blade, save your money. So that's it. Kind of a short video because, I mean, it's just a Baikal with a few tiny upgrades and, in my opinion, one big downgrade. I mean, bead blast enjoyers are going to love this. If you love that kind of squid bead blast, then this is definitely the thing to go with. But if you're like me, who prefers that kind of more shiny, satiny finish, definitely picking the V1 Baikal for my money. So that's going to do it for this video. Huge thank you to Thomas for sending this thing out, and this thing out, which we will get to in a future video. But yeah, I now own 2 of these, which is cool, but I'm definitely going to stick to flipping this blue one. Because, yeah, it's just, yeah, bead blast. I don't like bead blast. Bead blast. As I said in a past video, if bead blast has 0 haters, then I am dead. And I am going to go on to film the rest of the extravaganza of follow-up videos that we have left to do. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.